That's very simple. I had one big hero in my life, and that was Charles Lindbergh. Lindbergh flew the Atlantic Ocean when I was 6 years old, in 1927. And I had an uncle who made a model of his airplane, the Spirit of St. Louis, and I used to fly it out the window, first of all, a Model T Ford, and then after we graduated into a real automobile, out the window of the car. And I always wanted to fly. They started a draft program, and did they start that?
I don't know the date.
Before we actually got into war.
Yes.
When Hitler started Europe, it became pretty obvious to anybody that thought at all that we were going to get involved, and so the U.S. started a draft program. We all had everybody over the age of what?
18.
18, was it?
Yeah.
Had to register for the draft. So, regardless of what your intentions were or anything, you had to register for the draft, so that I did. In 1942, the Army sent a team of people to Salt Lake to recruit people to be aviation cadets. Man, this is right up my alley. The cadet program involved choosing people to be pilots, navigators, and bombardiers. Interview us, and then we had to take written exams, and then the physical. Well, there were 100 of us in that meeting that night, and I was the 75th one to get my paper corrected. And I was the 9th one to pass. She and I were married on the 22nd of May, 1942. I bought her a ring on the 1st of December, 1941. 6 days after I bought that ring, our world went just like that. Turned completely upside down on the 7th of December. And so they selected us to what we were going to be. They made one pilot out of 300, and one bombardier. That left 298 navigators, of which I was one. And I was unhappy. I said, I came here to fly, not to push a pencil. Meet him, I said, I want to resign from the program. I came here to be a pilot, not a navigator. He talked to me some more. He said, if you resign, you'll be placed in the infantry. You're going to end up, now this is in 1943. He said you're going to be living in a foxhole or a shell hole full of water down at Guadalcanal, and that's where you're going to sleep, you're going to eat, and there's going to be snipers and every one of those palm trees all the way around you. He said if you choose to be a navigator, you go out and fly a mission, and it can be pretty rough. He says you'll come home to your bed. Just think about that. Well, I thought about it. Next morning I went in there at 8 o'clock. I said, I want my resignation back. So I had to go through aerial gunnery school and navigation school, and started out at Mather here, 1943.
43.
Yeah. So no, I didn't choose to be a navigator. And I struggled. Celestial computations to find out where you are by shooting stars. It involves trigonometry, it involves a whole bunch of things. I had trouble with simple math, and so I struggled. But I worked hard. Flew combat in 3 wars and never had a crew member wounded.
That's great.
Very unusual.
That's a miracle.
What did you do? Rested. Field orders, and they said, after you get airborne, for an hour, you can open your orders and see where you're going. Well, an hour away, we all waited for an hour, and then we tore up our envelope, and it says Karachi. Do you ever hear of Karachi? Do you ever hear of Karachi?
Oh, no, never heard.
Do you ever hear of Karachi? No. Karachi, where's Karachi? There's no war in Karachi. And yet that's where we were going, halfway around the world. Karachi is now in Pakistan. Back then it was in India. So we got in the 7th Bomb Group. We soon found out there was a war. So we put these Bombay tanks in the B-24 and you couldn't get rid of them. They were put in on bomb shackles, but they were so heavy that the bomb shackles wouldn't work electrically. So they were pinned in there with 2 steel pins. The only way to get rid of them was to knock these pins out. So we're going across on a hump haul. The airplane was designed a maximum gross weight of 59,000 pounds. That's everything, bombs, fuel, crew, everything, 59,000 pounds. We never flew a mission out of India or to China under 74,000 pounds. That's a 25% overload. We had 5,000-foot runways. We used to not be airborne by the time we got to the end of the runway. That's real sporty. Unbalanced, that it would be sitting on the tail skid in the main gear. The nose wheel here would be this high off the ground. Mm-hmm. And the only way to get in this airplane is get down your hands and knees and crawl in here and get up on this catwalk. There's no doors in or out or anything. My position in this airplane, here's my window right here. One on each side. And this is where I shot the stars through. Because you had a map or a picture, a picture of your target. And the bombardier had to decide where the aiming point was. Well, this is a little picture. Doesn't look quite the same as looking at down there 25,000 feet away. So the bombardier and the navigator worked together, and the two of them had to decide what was really the aiming point that they'd briefed us on. And that's the way we did it. We lost one engine. We're grossly overweight. With 3 engines and this kind of weight, you don't climb, you don't even stay airborne. And so we had to get rid of some weight, and you can't jettison bombs. You just pull a lever and the whole bomb load goes, and all of a sudden you lose 12,000 pounds, you're back in business. But with these tanks we couldn't do that. So I gotta demonstrate this. I'll be right back. I'll keep talking. Okay. To get the best balance on the airplane, we had to get rid of an aft tank. So we decided to get rid of this tank here, left rear bay. Sergeant Streen and I, the engineer, he went back and he stood with 1 foot on the catwalk and the other foot on that little ledge right there. This is an open bomb bay now. And it's all filled with this big tank. It goes almost up to the top there. And he stood with his back against here, and I stood here with my foot right here, 1 foot on the catwalk, the other foot on that little tiny ledge. And this thing's to exact scale, so it's pretty close. And then the pins were connected to bomb racks up here, and there were 2 pins. And we each had to drive these 2 pins out exactly at the same time so the bomb tank would fall out. If it If it cocked when it went out, it's going to take both of us out with it. Now we couldn't put parachutes on. There was no room. Tank filled this bomb bay completely up. So here we are, straddled here, and we're straddled about that far from here to here. With crash axe has got an axe, it's a fireman's axe with a pointed, and with that point we had to drive these pins out together. If they didn't go out together, this thing's going to cock, and it's going to take us both out with it. When the tank went out, we got it to go out even, all right, but when it went out, it came back and it hit the rudder right here and took it off, and the stabilizer with it. So it just took this completely off. We're standing out here over an open bomb bay, and we both hung on.